It's a Wednesday night and it opens up our Parenting 101 discussions. This is The Social Impact on kwmedia.live. We're also streaming live onto our Facebook page at KWM Socials. I'm Keenan Williams and I'm with you every weeknight at 9 p.m. South African Standard Time on kwmedia.live. So for tonight's parenting discussion, I would like to open this dialogue and allow it to be between both parent and child. So if you are a parent or if you are a child, let's create a dialogue tonight. So during the South African lockdown, which we have had since March of this year, it's quite evident that we are spending a lot more time in each other's faces. We are also spending a lot more time at home, and for those of us who can, we are working from home as well. But how do we juggle the life of family, of children, of home tasks, of work, of getting schooling sorted? How are you coping with lockdown with your children, or how are you coping with lockdown with your parents? Your text or voice messages can be sent to our WhatsApp +27 76 476 9277. Or you can connect with us via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at KWM Social. So tonight, I have invited parenting conversationist Victorine Bongshu to join in on the dialogue. Victorine, thanks once again for joining us on The Social Impact. Tell me, how are you coping with the lockdown as a family?
Kenan, the question on adapting is a very good one, because for many parents, they have and they still struggle to really be able to sit with their children and do some work. But for my husband and I, we have been a family that had always been together with the children. You know, even during school days, we had a study where we would sit together and do work. We have always eaten together, apart from picking up two sets of children from two separate schools. When they were in the same school, you can tell we would be in one car. We would shop together. We would do a lot of things together. It would either be the father and the children, or the mother and the children, but the other person would be included when we all get together after hours in the evening. So it wasn't a very big transition for us. The only difference was the fact that the children are in two different schools, and one school seemed to be completely competent in how the school work is handled, and the other school seemed to be completely incompetent. So trying to balance the non-active school or non-active children with the active children means that we have to make sure that the non-active children do not distract us as parents, and also do not distract the other children. Especially because we, like I said in the beginning, we have a study room, a joint room, where all six of us sit during the working day or the schooling day. So we have to really be careful and active with the noise level. I know we are distracting each other a lot, but the distractions also, going back to the previous question, the distractions come to serve as the sanity that we deserve, you know. So, yeah, it's been not a bad transition for Emmanuel and I, because like I said, we've been involved parents from the beginning, and I feel like that is the reason why we really don't feel the pain of being with the children, of helping them with schoolwork or communicating with them, because it's like just the old way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Victorine, it's really evident that we had to get to a point of learning to cope with all of this. And you're talking about the coping mechanisms that you have applied to your family and how you are dealing with that dynamic as well. But how have you adjusted to this new way of doing things as your family?
You know, it's not been easy adjusting to lockdown here. But what else can I say? My family is a large family. It's 4 children, hubby and myself. And unfortunately for us, we sent away our helper because we thought it was good that she bonds with her own family. But the chores is killing us. It was easier when the children were on holiday. But now that they've gone back to school, it is not easy at all, because my 2 older children, they stay in class until 3 o'clock, online though. And there is just nothing you can do. I work until 4:30. My husband works. So, we are trying to cope, but it has not, I don't think we have freely transitioned or happily transitioned, but we are coping.
I'm glad you're coping as a family of, 4 children and your husband and yourself, 6 of you together. Victorine John sends through this text asking, how do you stay sane during this lockdown with 4 children and a husband without losing all sanity?
We do a variety of things as a family to stay sane. Personally, I moved from eating and cooking. Okay, I never really cooked. Let me say I moved from eating to sports, and I started gymming. But now for the past days, starting this last weekend, I have also failed in my gymming. So I really, what I do to stay sane is to do my work. I'm an author, so I'm doing a lot of writing. I'm also doing a lot of articles. But just taking care of the children is already putting me sane, because their sanity depends wholly on me. Mm-hmm. And if I try to derail myself, then the entire family will be derailed,
Yeah.
This not meaning that my husband cannot do or does not do. He has his own department. He's doing the cooking, he's doing the cleaning, he's been very fantastic. But at the end of the day, I see myself like the psychologist. I see myself like the person who, if I crumble, if I collapse, my entire family is going to crumble and collapse as well. Yeah. So I have to really stay sane just by looking at them. I'm sane already.
A reminder, if you have just joined in on the conversation and you would like to weigh in on the conversation tonight, you can do so via a WhatsApp, a text or voice message via +27 76 476 9277, or via our social media at KWM Socials. Nicole, you say you are dealing with a lockdown with your children surprisingly well. You say my house is neat and tidy, the TV helps, online schooling helps, and daily walks help. It gets a little difficult when my young son doesn't sleep well, and then he would sleep while I'm busy. Then I can't rest with him because then he would wake up and I would be very exhausted. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm losing my sanity. My 2 young sisters are also here who help out quite a bit. So Paul, you say the lockdown should be ended already for our mental stability. This lockdown has put strain on my marriage as well as we are irritating each other, and my children just don't listen. They must go back to school. I can't deal anymore. Paul, I'm so sorry about that, man. Your Lisa, you say I'm taking it a day at a time. I have a young 4-year-old little girl who keeps me busy plenty, but at least she can keep herself entertained at times, which helps if I need to rest or do some work from home. We are surviving, and I see this as a blessing as I get to spend more time with my little girl. Thanks very much for the messages coming through. We'll get to some more of your messages very soon. And keep them coming through on WhatsApp +27 76 476 9277, or via Facebook at KWM Socials. Also joining in on the conversation tonight is Victorine's daughter, the young author herself, Stacey Frew. Stacey, thanks so much for joining in on the dialogue tonight. How are you keeping sane through all of this, Stacey?
How I'm staying sane under these lockdown conditions, I think that what's really keeping me sane is when we get out of lockdown, all the opportunities or the things I can do, so on and so forth. And I think that it's just the thought of the future that is keeping me sane personally, and having all things to do during the day. If I didn't have things to do, I would surely explode.
I have to agree with you. I think I would explode as well if I didn't have anything to do. My daughter keeps me very, very busy. She's 16 months old, and there's lots of things going on during the day. Sometimes I don't even get time to do a lot that I'd like to have done in my day. And I do agree with you, especially when it comes to this hope that lies in remaining positive that this coronavirus and the infection rate will also pass, and we will go back to doing what we love and seeing who we love and care about in the future. Stacey, tell me a little bit about how has your family adjusted to this new normal?
So how my whole family has adjusted to being under these conditions of lockdown, I think that at first we were taking it lightly. We didn't really know what to plan for in the weeks ahead. But as we kept on going, we started to see the effects of how actually living at home with everyone would be, and especially with online schooling. And I think that we are still not used to being at home with one another, and we'll get there eventually, but until then we are just kind of trying to live normally.
Earlier your mom said that you're doing schooling online. How are you finding that?
I think for me online school is a challenge. It's always been a challenge from the beginning, and it continues to be a challenge because it's harder to learn when the student-teacher sort of intimacy isn't there. Like, you find it harder to learn when you have to probably take it upon yourself to learn. And I think for those children who are privileged enough to learn, that many of us are taking it for granted, not actually going to school. But then again, they are the minority who do take school seriously. So it's a challenge, but we have no other choice.
If you have just joined us, this is The Social Impact on kwmedia.live. We're also streaming on our Facebook page tonight. We're streaming live on our Facebook page at KWM Socials. If you'd like to weigh in on the conversation tonight, you can do so via our WhatsApp text or voice message, +27 76476 9277. Just as Julie has done, you say the problem with this new normal, as you talk about, Keenan, is that we are not used to the change as yet, and we weren't prepared for this. We are only getting into somewhat of a structure as a family now. I do believe that some of the restrictions are too enforceful, though, and that is making things very tough. An afternoon walk with my 2 young sons would really help a lot, and it would also help us a lot with our mental sanity. Don't worry, we are not losing it yet. So thanks very much, Julie, for sending that through. Justin, you say, I'm finding things tough to be at home. I enjoyed it at first as it was an extended long holiday and away from school, but now I worry that I might repeat the year. My school sends me some work to do, but there's no one to explain it to me. I'm also very scared to repeat my grade because my parents said that they won't let me back to school while the numbers are the way it is and they can't afford homeschooling. Thanks very much, Justin, for sending that one through. Queen, you say that it's good to have structure and a routine going as a family to make things interesting, but also to not just lay on the couch all day. Zinzi, you say the way government is treating all of this is like they only worry about the Model C schools, but not us in the communities and the townships. So thanks very much for the messages coming through. You can keep the conversation going by sending through your messages via WhatsApp as well as on social media at KWM Socials. Stacey, we heard that there's quite a few people talking about the lockdown should end. What do you make of this? Should the lockdown end or not?
No, I do not feel that the lockdown in any country should end if of course, medical professionals have not advised it to. And for South Africa, I do not think that the lockdown should end so that people can go out and continue spreading coronavirus. I think that it should be extended until necessary, until we have actually tackled the coronavirus issue. That is my opinion.
And that, unfortunately, is all the time we have for tonight. So thanks very much, Stacey, as well as Victorine, for joining in on the conversation tonight. And thanks very much to you for sending through your messages. There's quite a lot still coming through. Let's continue this conversation on our social media at KWM Socials on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also go and listen to previous episodes of our podcasting series on our website, KWmedia.life. We're back again tomorrow. So from myself, Keenan Williams, keep rocking SA. Bye-bye.